Hello guys and welcome back to today's episode. In today's segment, we have the GSE's Composite Index. It's the index that tracks the overall market and it's currently down from its previous week. Now, I'm going to go over why I think this is very deceiving and I'll try and explain my thoughts on why I still think we are in a very bullish market. And then afterwards, we'll look at BOPP. They've just declared their final dividends for the full year 2024 performance. We're going to go over that. And finally, we are going to end off with the May 2025 inflation figure. It was just released on Wednesday. So I'm going to give my thoughts on it and what I anticipate. So there's a lot that we are going to discuss in today's episode. Let's get into it. So we start off with the GSE's Composite Index, and that's the index that tracks the overall market in Ghana. You can see that it has dropped from 6,150 to now 6,004. I don't know how much that is in percentage points, but it has dropped. I won't say massively, but it has been dropping. And usually when the overall market is dropping, you would assume that we are in a bearish market or people are selling off. And whilst that is true to an extent, I think it's very deceiving to look at the composite index, especially Ghana's own, to determine if Ghana is in a bullish market or a bearish market. So you might ask, why do I think we are in a bullish market? Well, when we look at the composite index, in its formula, it's calculated using the market cap of all the companies on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So, in computing that particular formula, companies with a bigger market cap contribute majority to the performance of the GSE CI or the composite index, whilst companies with smaller market caps, regardless of their performance, will contribute just a tiny bit to the performance of the composite index. So for example, MTN is the largest company in terms of market cap on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So if we are computing, if MTN performs relatively well, like maybe it goes up by 1%, the overall composite index or the Ghana Stock Exchange composite index is most likely also going to go up, just because MTN contributes a higher percentage in the performance of the composite index. In the same scenario, a company like Glystone, which has one of the smallest market cap on the Ghana Stock Exchange, might go up massively or down massively, but that wouldn't really contribute as much to the performance of the composite index, just because it really contributes just a slight portion to the performance of the composite index. So I hope that makes sense. So this scenario can be very deceiving. As of now, MTN is currently having a massive sell-off. Maybe massive is too much, but it's currently trading down. And because MTN contributes a lot to the performance of the overall index, we can see that the overall index is now dropping massively just because of MTN. But in the same period, we have a lot of companies. If you watch my Cedi portfolio update, you can see that a lot of companies were trading up. Access Bank traded up, GCB traded up, Farm Bill traded up, Total, Stanchart, Goal. There are a lot of companies. I can't remember some of on top of my head. BOPP, like a lot of companies traded up, but because when you add those companies' market cap, it still doesn't reach the market cap of MTN. So if MTN is dropping massively and all these companies are going up, the overall index is still going to weigh more towards MTN, just because MTN contributes much more to the performance of the composite index. So that's why I think this narrative of using a composite index is really deceiving. Now, if you look at the market currently, apart from MTN and a couple of shares that people are selling, almost all these companies that I said traded up. It's really difficult to get them in the market. In a bullish market, no one is willing to sell. Everyone wants to hold because they think the stocks are going to continue soaring and going up and going up. So it makes sense to just hold a stock. If you have a stock that is worth 2 cedis and you believe that within the next month or next 2 months it's going to go to 5 cedis, 10 cedis, are you going to sell? No, because you won't make or enjoy that profit. So that's why I think we are in a bullish market. Apart from MTN and a few other stocks, almost every other stock, you either have to bid way higher than the current price to get those stocks, or no one is selling. So that's what I believe, and I think it just shows the narrative of how the Ghana stock market works and how bullish of a market we are in. Up next, we have news from BOPP, that's Benso Oil Palm Plantation, and they just announced or declared that they have approved the final dividends for full year 2025. So BOPP usually pays dividend twice a year. They already paid their first dividend, the interim dividends, that's what it usually is called. Then the final dividend is what they just approved. It was approved during their general meeting at Takrady. I wish I was there, but I'm not a shareholder of BOPP. So they are going to pay 90 pesos per share. So the 90 pesos is going to be charged with 8% tax. You can do your calculations and you will know the exact amount you receive. They haven't announced the date they are going to pay the final dividends yet, but definitely trust me, if they do, I'll let you guys know. So if you own any BOPP shares, you should be expecting a dividend payment. When they announce when they are going to pay it, I'll definitely let you guys know. Also, let me know down below in the comments what you think about BOPP. Are you planning on buying? Do you already own, or are you planning on selling? And what do you think about this news as well? And finally, we end off today's news wrap looking at the May 2025 inflation figure. Now, it was reported by the GSS, and May 2025's inflation figure was 18.4%, so it dropped massively from 21.2%, about 280 basis points, to 18.4% for May 2025. So this indicates that the rate at which prices are increasing is slowing down, and that's just, it's very good. It's very good. What are my thoughts? Now, I believe this was expected, especially after the Cedi had a massive appreciation from late parts of April to early parts of May. Also, prices of churro and transportation went down, fuel prices went down, and all in all, I think we had a strong base effect from last year. So I don't think this was surprising to see. It was expected. Maybe I didn't expect 18.4, maybe 19 point something, but 18.4 is very, very good. And now this has really opened up a lot of conversations, and people are now anticipating that the Bank of Ghana's target of 12%, usually we always give a target for the year, what we think inflation is going to do, and BOG gave a target. Government also gave, the finance minister also gave a target as well. Bank of Ghana's target was 12%, and the finance minister's target was 11.9%. And people are now anticipating that, based on the rate at which inflation is dropping, most likely we are going to reach those targets. Now, if you can see this target here, you are seeing an 8 plus or minus 2. This is not the target for 2025. This is the target that Ghana usually wants to keep our inflation at. So we have a target where, if inflation is within that target, we assume that we are in a stable economy, and that's what we always strive to have. But inflation at the moment is not even at this target. It's at currently 18.4. At the beginning of the year, the BOG gave a target of 12%, and that's what they are planning to bring inflation down to. Now, if you look at the 91-day bill, you can see that it's currently trading at 14.26%. And investors right now believe this presents a good opportunity to start buying treasury bill at this rate. Just because if you buy treasury bills at 14%, 15%, and 16% between the 91-day bill and the 1-year bill, that's the 364, you are going to end up making way more money at the end of that investment compared to where inflation is. 14% of inflation is currently going to be higher than the end year targets if inflation reaches that level. So if inflation reaches 12% and you buy a treasury bill investment of, let's say, in the 6 months at 15%, you're going to make way more than the 12% of inflation, and that's going to give you real return or positive return on your money. So I think it's opening up a lot of conversations for investors, and it's now making treasury bills attractive again to investors. The attractiveness of treasury bills went a little bit down because the GOG was cutting yields down massively. But now, given that inflation is also coming down, and hopefully the central bank also cuts its policy rate, the next meeting will be in July. Hopefully, the yields on treasury bills are now becoming attractive. Do you agree with my thoughts? Do you think yields are now attractive? Also, comment down below what you think of the other news I talked about. So that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. But before, also comment down below what you think about this particular video. Let me know how your portfolio is doing, and also what you are currently looking at, what you want to buy, what you want to sell on the market, what you are investing in. I'm curious to know. Thank you so much.